Happy Wednesday. I'm Tara Thomas.
And I'm Amanda Goodman. Thanks so much for joining us for the group chat. It is Wednesday, January 28th. Yes, my friends, we're still in the month. We're still in the month of January, though, the longest month.
It has seemed so long. And if any of you have been, on this New Year's resolution or kind of get healthy track, no worries. Like January has been like 8 weeks long, so you've had plenty of time to acclimate.
Can I, for a moment? This is fantastic. What are these sleeves? I love it.
Thank you. I got this dress for Christmas, and I love anything. Well,
fur,
I love fur, so I have the fur trim. So I thought
you were like a mob wife.
Thank you. So I thought, well, tonight, since we will be at the Waterfront Hotel in Prairie du Chien, I need to have a muff. It's like a muff.
Oh, I love it.
But I have this also this brown fur vest I got for Christmas. So I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. Thank you. I actually, something that I was going to tell you that's kind of different. I tend to be, we both like kind of muted solids.
Yeah.
Like we're both pretty much like, we're not, yes, I love a good leopard print, but we're mostly solids. So even though I'm not like a huge fan per se, but I do think it's interesting on watching some of like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or some of these shows where you'll have these stylists and they'll always say, don't be afraid to mix up colors. And so now I was like, I think I'm going to do a brown with a plum or like with a maroon.
I like it. Well, where you are with fur, that's where I am with leather.
Oh, for sure.
I'm like a leather.
And all that leather has been so fun to see because it's all pants. It's all back in the stores.
I like it, but it's kind of like when we were doing shopping for prom gowns, right? Like I'm very much like my daughter tried on all these beautiful gowns, and if they were like bright colors, I would say to her, I'm like, I see the dress first. Like I'm very understated. Like I want to see you, not the dress first. So that's why I live in black.
Oh, same. And the thing that's so fun that many of you, maybe can or can't appreciate is you do reach a point at our age where you sort of look at something and you just know your aesthetic. Oh. You know what does or doesn't work. And so that's a nice place to arrive at. Cause I feel like in your 20s and 30s, especially if you're working,
you're finding yourself.
Yeah. You're all over the place. And then of course we had this added layer of being on TV. And so, so much of what I wore, which I embraced, was, the boxy blazers and the suits. And so it's so funny that there would be so many people that as I got into my later years, they would like email and they'd say like, I feel like you're dressing like an old lady. And I wanted to say, no, I'm not going to dress like how they started to on cable,
right?
Where everybody was wearing, the sleeveless tight dresses. And to me, that just wasn't professional.
Right, sleeveless when it's like 8 feet of snow on the ground. Like we make fun of it all the time. But I think I'm still dressing now how I was younger. And I'm not saying that because you made fun of me. Like when I lost weight, you're like, your clothes are very baggy.
Oh yeah.
You're like, why are you wearing?
She's definitely and that's not a bad thing because it still looks really good. But you're somebody who tends to not want like form-fitting clothes. No. And see me, because I've got the hips, more like
that flat belly.
So I'm like more like let's get a little bit of a form-fitting piece just so I can say I do have a waist despite how big my hips are.
No, you always look good. And I'm very much like baggy, but I'm still the classic outfit. If I was getting up and going grocery shopping tomorrow, it'd be black leggings, white shirt, denim shirt or jacket.
Oh, that's cute.
Like literally,
that's
I think I've been
timeless,
wearing
it. Right?
Yeah.
It's timeless.
So, I think I literally have like denim shirts and jean jackets in my closet from 1998.
Oh, same.
I
totally
and I'm
do.
Not like Todd Oldham was the designer.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So I have a vest that's not hanging in here. I have a vest that I'll have to show someday. That's hilarious. It's this gold kind of, or it's like a muted gold, but it's a kind of a puffer sleeveless. It's from Express.
Oh.
And I still wear that. And I have a picture in college wearing that. And I thought, that's funny.
It was probably Limited Express.
Or yes, Limited Express. Thank you. Limited Express. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one thing that we wanted to talk about is tonight's show. And a lot of people have been so kind to say, hey, they were not able to come last week. We ended up having to reschedule due to the weather. So the beauty of our shows is we literally sell the tickets all the way up until showtime. So if you're in the Prairie du Chien area, or you want to travel there tonight, we will be at the Waterfront Hotel from 6 to 8. It sounds like an amazing place. We haven't seen it in person, but everybody has told us that it's a really cool hotel. And we're so excited to be in Prairie du Chien because for years we talked about it on the news and then we make, this fun joke about it in our show. So we haven't been able to see it in person. So if you'd like to go tonight and see us live, you can go to our website, faithin4letterwords.com, click on the ticket link, and there's a list of Prairie du Chien ticket link and upcoming show links. And I wanted to mention as well, a thanks to Malia. I kept calling her Malaya, and it's actually Malia.
Beautiful
Malia, yeah, the Cactus and Cove entrepreneur who helped to champion us and get us up there.
Oh, and she's been phenomenal. And I just want to thank everybody for the grace. When you have plans, and it takes a lot when you're scheduling a night out, especially away from your families and all your activities and things. And even though the weather was bad, everyone out there showed so much grace that we rescheduled, and it was really to
and I think it was the right call because we
call.
ended up talking to people that were traveling in more rural areas, and the blowing snow became blinding, and that was our concern because we know and we're proud of the fact that a lot of people that come to our show might be middle-aged or older, and they don't feel comfortable driving at night, especially
it makes us really nervous for the people who come to our show because we want to make sure everybody gets home safely. So I just want to thank everybody because I think in today's world we lack a lot of grace, but everyone who follows us shows us a lot of grace, except there was one person yesterday. Okay, so you saw that reel I did, that tongue-in-cheek.
Oh yeah,
because I got an email the other day about and I was talking to people, and it was, the narrative. Amanda, I can't stand Amanda. She's ruining our town. Get out of here. Again, don't blame the fire alarm for the fire, right?
I like that line. That's a good line.
Because it's true. It's, and they're saying because I call out predatory behavior or things that were swept under the rug, yada, yada. So someone said to me, they sent me a message. She's like, I'm not criticizing. She's like, your reel was hilarious. She says, but what does it mean? She's like, you said it on the show. And when you say, you're not the one, she's like, I've never heard that phrase before. And I said, it's very much like Mary J. Blige. It's a very
urban slang
East
thing
Coast.
that we tend to say.
When you say, when we say, and you can say this, I encourage you, say, I'm not the one. So it's kind of like, if you think you can talk to me some type of way, or you think I'm going to fit in the box, or you think that when you tell me to sit down, I'm going to sit and ask how long. I'm not the one. You could do that with somebody else, but I bite back. So that's what it means.
And you could almost finish the sentence like, I'm not the one who's going to take that, or it's like fill in the blank. So basically it's like, don't try me because this isn't my first rodeo and we're not going to lie down and take it.
Yeah. And I think being from PA, and I think your best friend from college, Gina, who lives out in Western PA.
Who's an avid viewer.
She is an avid
sister
viewer.
Lori. Thank you guys for watching.
And I think Gina can recognize, if you're in PA, we'd be like, I'm not the one. And we just sit there. You know what I mean? Whether you're from East or Western Pennsylvania, it's just but I enjoyed that question because she was like, I'm just,
what are you talking about?
Well,
which is great because this is why we call it the group chat, because we want to have some level of interaction with you, the ladies who spend time with us. Okay, your nails are so cool. It looks like a Louis Vuitton.
Oh, okay.
So
they are iridescent. I'm going to put them up on camera.
It looks like leather surface.
Thank
almost.
you.
It's so cool.
So they're iridescent black. Can you see? Look at my fat sausage fingers. So
I love it. So they have raised bumps
and then
on them
the black
with
dots,
a print.
Because I'm my nails. I either get black.
Cool.
So my I go to Marie at Lucky Nail. She's the best. So I will come in and I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm making you do this today. I can't just have normal.
No, I think that's
nails.
great.
So
I love it. Well, we also want to give a shout out to our sponsors quickly. Middle River Cabinetry and Winterset. Thanks for sponsoring the group chat. Yes. If you want to check out their website, they have some great custom creations. And then Splendore, the med spa in Cedar Falls, Iowa, where I had my first treatment of PRX last week. So I'm looking more glowing thanks to Liz.
Glowing. You are glowing.
But I put some bronzer on too. And I have that problem where, do you ever do that where sometimes you're in a rush and then you throw your bronzer on and then you later realize you have a big brown patch in the middle of your forehead.
Or I've done it before where I would contour and I don't know why, because I don't know why I contour, but I left it. And my kids were like, you look ridiculous.
Like a clown.
It's just, it's bad. It's really bad. So last night I realized something that it was very interesting. You know, that moment when you look at your kids and we all look at our kids and we're like, I'm so proud, but it's when they respond to certain situations. And my oldest was in a situation, and her tolerance level for BS is like a negative.
Mhm.
So I was just very proud of
Chip
her
off
last
the old
night.
block.
It is. And but like, you know, when I get mad and I see red, like when I get mad, like it's like I see red and it's like I turn into like the Hulk. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Like the music starts playing from the Incredible Hulk, if you're old enough to remember. But then I have to remember, not only do my children have my Sicilian temper, they also have their father's Latino temper.
Oh, for sure.
And like my husband
is a fiery mix.
My husband is calm and the nicest, the kindest person until he's like not.
Until he blows.
So I saw it in firsthand last night, and she was in her safe space. She was at home and she was venting to us. And I saw it and I was like, ooh, bless the people who crossed this child. Like it was, because it was a very fiery exchange. So I had that moment last night of, oh yeah, you are me.
I love that though, because that's the one thing that we always hope, especially for girls. You just hope they're not doormats, right? That they aren't being taken advantage of, or basically being treated less than, or not feeling self-assured enough to stand up for themselves.
Right,
That's sort of the goal. So speaking of our daughters, my daughter tends to be the one who, you know, has all the nicer clothes, and then I get sometimes her hand-me-down. So she was home for the holidays and she got this really cool coat. Well, she even said, since she doesn't need a coat where she lives, she said, well, you can just keep it and wear it the rest of the year. And I said, okay.
Nice.
Yes, I said, okay, great. So anyway, here's a picture of the coat, and this will make you laugh. So the coat is, it's one of those kind of, this is like a thing now with teens. No, but it's like the softer camouflagey trends. Yes. You've seen some of this. Yes. So this is the hilarious part. My friend Katie, one of my basketball mom friends, who's right behind my husband's head there on the left, she said, do you know that coat has marijuana leaves on it? And I was like, what? And it doesn't, but it's so funny that she said that, because it's like maple leaves. And so now I was like, okay, we're not, you know, promoting drugs and doing marijuana, but that's my husband, Dave. And this was last night at the basketball game. And I thought that was hilarious when she said, it looked like marijuana.
Well, you know, I mean, the leaves come from the earth. God put them there. I mean, it's like Cat Williams said, if you know, they come from the ground, if you light it on fire. I mean, like so
I was not like pro cannabis or like promoting the legalization of, you know, widespread marijuana legalization, even though, as we've talked about, which is kind of a anomaly, since I don't drink and never have, and I also don't do drugs. For me, I really don't delineate between alcohol and marijuana. They both, to me, are drugs that alter your, you know, mental state. Sure. And I'm not like politicizing about them by any means, but it's just kind of weird how when you're not somebody who partakes of either, you really don't tend to have strong opinions about one over the other.
I have partaked in. Is it partook? Like I can't even speak this morning. You know, both. Not recently by any means. But I will say, I think marijuana would make people very, like I will go back to Cat Williams, hungry, happy, sleepy, right? Now you should not drive on either. You absolutely, that's under the influence, but it's like, you're much more, I think alcohol, you're ready to fight somebody. You're ready. You're changing. You're changing who you are. You're ready to fight somebody.
So it emboldens you. Whereas marijuana,
you're just like,
to relax you.
You're relaxed. In my experience from like, and again, this is from like years and years and years, like decades ago, right? When I was a stupid kid, you want to just chill and you want everything's funny and everything tastes good. Like strange combinations of
that
food.
Would be dangerous for me. Somebody who already thinks everything tastes good sober.
Yeah. So I do think, I mean, I used to talk to my dad about it. My dad's an attorney, and I would ask him, and I said, what I would like push him, you know, and imagine this, like your 19-year-old daughter who said, I gotta go find myself. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, well, Dad, like what crime has ever been committed when someone's like on marijuana? You know what I mean? I would do that. And my dad would look at me. My dad was so straight laced. Like he was like Jimmy Chitwood from Hoosiers. You know what I mean? Like, has a
That's
flat
so
top. So
great.
he's looking at me like, oh my God, she's a hippie. Like, she's like, what is wrong with her? But I just wanted to
That
know,
is
like,
so funny that you said I need to find myself, and he said, "You're right here.
You're right here."
That's such.
I found-
that is the best
because
line.
my dad is very, very like, he's very old school. You know, he's the flat top guy. You know what I mean? Like, he had the flat top. He was the rule follower.
I
like,
love it.
Everybody called him Sister Mary because
Oh
he
my
was,
gosh,
and he
that's
was a mama's boy.
hilarious.
So, I mean, like, that's where we won't get into that. But I think I think there are two. They have effects on you greatly, but I will always think that they have completely different effects on you.
Well, and one thing that I had not thought of that somebody told me, somebody who sort of tracks the progress of legalization nationally, said that when you legalize marijuana, especially in towns or specific cities, what happens is there is no legal place to smoke it indoors. So a lot of people then take it to the streets. And as evidenced by walking through New York,
Colorado,
Chicago,
Denver,
Colorado,
Yeah.
especially Vegas. Vegas is a
sure.
big one because Vegas is like everyone's, generally out on the strip on vacation. And so because it's, for sale recreationally, I mean, I was blown away at how many times you're kind of walking by that cloud and it's like, oh my, I mean, I hate the smell of it.
Yeah. And that's weird because then, I mean, you can get you can get high, you can get a contact high off of that.
Right?
The one thing that I'm amazed by, my brother lives in Maine where it's legal. And there are like places where it's like basically like a doctor's office. And there's somebody who has a medical degree and also is like studied in, cannabis and the effects. And if you go in there and say, for instance, I could go in there and say, I have severe ulcerative colitis. I don't want to take pain medicine. Okay, this is I mean, like, so
they're like prescribing a specific regimen.
I am a big supporter of it being used medicinally, especially without no questions asked, because I watched my uncle just live in hell with pancreatic cancer. Right. Awful. So it's kind of like, I do believe because it does just wash over you and like takes immense amount of pain away.
Remember that movie Stepmom with Julia Roberts and Susan Sarandon? I felt like that kind of normalized that in our culture.
I think when people, I mean, like, I'm going to Catholic school, we had a lot of like extreme teachings of certain things, right? Like if you have premarital sex, body parts will fall off. You know what I mean? Like, it was very interesting. But we also, like, we had like these, the drug talks, and everyone said like marijuana is a gateway drug. And so my parents would repeat everything.
I believe that.
I don't.
Know. Well, no, I believe it from the standpoint of when you hear that people say, I started with this, but then that wasn't doing it for me. And then they transition to stronger drugs.
And the reason I don't think, again, I'm not an expert, it's been a very, very long time since I have participated, right? But I will say, I don't think so, because it's the way that marijuana changes your body. It's literally like just washes over you a relaxation, where other drugs, and I've never tried anything else, anything else. The other stuff alters your mind or like does something like it was, we went to school in the 90s and college in the 90s. And that's when like people were doing like mushrooms.
Yes.
And that was, and I was like, I don't want anything that makes me lose control of my body. It makes me something.
I think they also drop acid. That was like a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think there's like a different.
I don't know what that means. I guess that's like putting a strip of paper on your tongue or something. Yeah.
And I also want to say, like, I never thought I would be on television, right? Talking about, so this is great. This is why it's great. It's our own show.
This is why it's fun to not have others control the narrative, because we can have these candid conversations. So thanks for helping support our cause here on the group chat. Jeannie, Melissa, Ray, I love it. Ray, what a great name. Nancy and Mary's back. Melissa said, I don't like form-fitting clothes either. So she's in your camp. Good morning to Shali, Dar, Patrice. Thank you. Blessings, ladies. Right back to you. And our friend Alice, she said, it's going to be a great day. And yes, we hope that you and your friends are able to make it tonight, Alice, since you were planning to go to our show in Prairie du Chien last week. And Danielle has a good morning shout out that I will mention.
Just a lot of people watching this morning.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for making it kind of like what we call appointment television. So whatever you're doing, if you're up and about and you're near a device on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m., the plan is to go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
Rain or shine, sleet or snow, like the postman. And here's the thing that I started thinking about. we'll have to figure out a plan if one of us is on vacation.
We have to go live from the vacation.
Yes,
we have to do
yes.
two-way.
And we can do with this platform that we use. I
Right.
think we can both be live
We have to
from
take people
divergent locations.
take everyone to our locations. But what we're also doing, as I realize this, we're bringing back appointment television, because news is no longer appointment television.
No.
Do you remember? I mean, I remember, and it is just, news has changed, right? Like by the time the 5, 6, and 10 o'clock roll around on television, news is old. It's, because of social media.
Correct.
But I mean, growing up at 6 o'clock, whatever we were doing, I mean, we had to get home for the 6 o'clock news. That's when,
Isn't
everyone's
that crazy
TVs
how
were on,
that
like,
was such a habit for people.
oh, we would be eating dinner, and if we didn't finish by 6, my parents would wheel in the television cart into the kitchen, and we would watch the news. And it was just, and I think that's why I want it to be on TV, because I'm like, wow, everyone is like watching them. Like everyone wants to.
There was a level of collective attention that
1,000%.
you could capture, and that doesn't exist today. And it's simply because we have so many more slices of the pie in terms of streaming, whereas years ago there were like 3 channels. I mean, that was it. And then if you were lucky, you were getting like that cable box, and you could expand to like 12 to 15 channels. I mean, that's what's crazy. That's how that seemed like a smorgasbord of options when we went to like the 12 channels. And I see TikToks about this all the time. I do remember the Time and Temp channel where it would play like that's classic background music.
Yes.
So I would turn to that channel, and that's how, if I didn't have a clock or watch, we didn't have phones to check the time. So we would turn on the TV. Yeah. And then they would do a sign off when the channels would actually sign off. They weren't 24 hours. So they would play sometimes patriotic music with like a photo of an eagle, and they would play like the Star Spangled Banner.
It would. I was thinking when you said the cable box. So I don't remember what the year was, but remember the Madonna Like a Prayer video?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, first of all, I love that.
Well,
that
plus
song's so
she
jam.
made it like blasphemous,
It was
trying
blasphemous.
to
So
recreate
you can
the
imagine
scene of Jesus on the cross.
You can imagine Catholic school. So at a mass, then the priest says, Father Mahoney, the late Father Mahoney, he was an amazing priest. He was telling the parishioners, no parent should have MTV in their house. This is like blasphemous. It's sacrilegious, like blah, 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 right? So I am at home, and we have the cable box, and this guy, the doorbell rings, and it's the cable guy. Literally the cable guy. And I said, may I help you? And he was like, I'm here to remove channel 35. And that was MTV. Because they could come to your house and remove. And I went like,
so funny.
And I am like, little kid, I'm like, no, you're not. Like, and my mom's in the background. She's like, come on in. Removed MTV.
Oh
because
my gosh.
The Like a Prayer
so
video. But that was back in the day when you had a cable box and you could pick and choose what stations. So then like I was going in the neighborhood, like looking for a fix. I was like, hey, you got, I need some MTV. Like, can I get some MTV? They stole it. And I still remember it. Like and I told, like, I look at it now, like, Mom, I was listening to NWA and you were worried about
Madonna. Like a Prayer.
Like a
Okay,
prayer?
so as a contrast, at my house, where my father embraced television from its inception, we had like
the stations.
Growing up, eventually it was like a TV in every room, and I'm not exaggerating.
And that was big. That was like a big thing back then.
Yeah. So for my non-TV viewing friends, the ones that were a little more restricted, my friend Ron, he had no access to cable. Ever. And the funniest thing, freshman year of high school, when we'd have people over, to hang out and watch a movie, we had HBO, and I was able to pull up.
I knew it. You would
Bolero with Bo Derek, where for the first time in his life in 9th grade, Ron saw a topless woman on TV, and I'll never forget the look on his face. He was like in shock, like, I can't believe what I'm seeing, And then here's me, like, dude. I was trying to sneak and watch Porky's in like 4th grade,
Porky's was now, okay. Did your dad have, you had Cinemax then?
Oh yeah. We had HBO and
Cinemax.
And Cinemax, as many of you will recall, it did really take that kind of turn into the more harder core adult entertainment.
See, well, back in the day, like you would have, and I'm sure people, if you're old enough, if you're watching, you remember they would have like the preview weekend of HBO. And then what would you do?
Oh,
you take the
VHS,
free. You get the VHS tape and you pop it in, and then you would
record Romancing the Stone, all the movies. Right?
My brother and I can still remember. We have I remember it was like there was a movie called Quarterback Princess. It was a real story
Oh, I
about
love
Tammy
it.
Maida. Helen Hunt was the star, but it was like Quarterback Princess, Mannequin, and Money Pit on the
Oh
same
my gosh, I love
tape.
it. Mannequin.
Mannequin.
And Money Pit is a classic.
Oh,
And you and your brother still quote that movie.
we quote it my brother and I will quote movies all the time, but we always do, like, if someone's like, how long is it going to take? We're like 2 weeks from, Money Pit, like 2
Oh,
weeks,
yeah,
2
yeah.
weeks, 2 weeks. And we also quote Big. Like anytime there's like when he opens his paycheck for the first time, he's like, $187. Like, we quote movies all the time. My husband hates it. He's like, you two are so weird.
It's neat that you have that sibling bond over your shared experiences.
We have those movies because my brother and I were really, really tight. But I was thinking about my sister. So my older sister, Kimberly, is like 5 years older. And so when she went to college, I was only 13. So those are my formidable years, right? She and I got very, very close later in life. And I got to give my sister credit because around here in Iowa, when kids have athletic games or band, like concerts and musicals and stuff, you see families show up. Like, it's grandparents, it's aunts, it's uncles. Like, that's one thing that I love about out here. It's beautiful. I obviously don't have that because my family lives all over the country. My sister last night texts me. She's like, let's go G. And she texts me a picture. She's sitting in her living room and she has the game
cute.
up on Huddle. Never misses a basketball game or a soccer game. And I'm like, that is like.
And that's what is cool about technology.
Yes.
Because time was anyone outside of the immediate area where you lived would never be able to see or enjoy anything. And you, unless you were going to haul this giant VHS camera that I carried around many a day on my shoulder.
I can see it.
And my dad, being a school superintendent, they let me use sometimes the school districts. Yeah, like camera. So in fifth grade, my very first press conference, my dad took me down to Richard Pryor, who's a native of Peoria, was debuting his first feature film called JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. And I got this close to Richard Pryor and I had the camera and I was surrounded by the other local media photographers and I was shooting the presser.
Had the coolest life. Like, I did not know Richard Pryor was from Peoria.
and that's the joke is everybody's related to Richard Pryor, So growing up, I mean, you just knew that Richard Pryor was like synonymous with, Peoria being his hometown. And the funny thing is allegedly his grandma ran a brothel. And that was one of many elements that were highlighted in this feature film.
If that's how you want to earn your paper.
Now, my backyard neighbor growing up was an extra in that movie because tons of people in Peoria they shot a lot of it on location. So they got to be extras in the film, which I always thought was kind of a cool thing.
That is a really cool thing.
But I will say, and this is awful, at the time that I did shoot that presser, I think it was either shortly after or around when he was dealing with the drug use and he had like burned his face from like freebasing. So when I saw him, I think he had like some evidence of some of that drug. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you see somebody in person and you don't expect them to have the human blemishes of a real person, you know? So it was just weird to see him like up close. So I need to find that tape somewhere because I have the VHS tape.
Right. I love it. I have the old VHS tapes of like talent shows.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We shot everything. I mean,
it was great.
Productions, high school drama.
I went out and I tell my kids, like every time I hear Whitney Houston's How Will I Know? I mean, I can bust out the routine. I did it like, I think third grade talent show by myself.
I love that.
And a leotard and a Notre Dame sweatshirt up top.
My gosh. Yeah, that is like, so Lucci.
Oh, yeah. And like, I remember my sister was in 8th grade at the time and she was like mortified. She was like, I can't believe you're doing this. And I'm like, I mean, I just had zero.
That is so funny. How will I know? I did 6th grade with Kim Speakerman and Laura Marsh. We did a Cruel Summer performance.
Bananarama?
Oh, yeah. And then the following year, we wore our dad's suits and we did Lean on Me.
Oh. See, this is why our generation deserved a TikTok. We would have been we would have been.
Are you kidding me?
I would have done TikTok.
I have, and I'm going to find it. I have somewhere a photo in high school. We would do our homecoming themes, and then we had a homecoming talent show. That was a big deal. And then each class would perform, and then you would compete, and then the class that had the best performances would win the talent show. That was fun. So senior year, Kara Young, my best friend, and I we played the dancers on Addicted to Love. We were the not the dancers, but the girls holding the guitars.
Yeah, with the
So
slickbacks.
so our friend Rob Reed, he played Robert Palmer, and I was like, that's really cool that you're playing Robert Palmer and your name is Robert.
I could
But
see
we
you-
had the slick back
See,
and we
again-
had the pantyhose, you know.
Again, young kids, we created slickbacks, like Robert
Yeah.
Palmer's like video.
Yeah.
That was like the.
Yeah, if you've
the
never
OG of
seen
slickback.
it, it's
We
definitely
didn't do that. We
a
had
classic.
in college. I'm a Kappa Delta, and shocking. No one would know that I was a sorority girl. Yes, best time. We had during Greek week, we had a thing called hairband.
Oh, that's
No,
awesome.
airband.
Okay. Oh, that's
And that
awesome.
was where you would lip sync.
oh
a
so
thing.
fun.
And so I just want to let you know because I talked about this last week. One of the things we did, we were lip syncing 3 songs from Grease 2.
Oh.
Reproduction. Cool Rider, you know who was singing, Cool Rider right here. But it was like, but I'm telling you, like lip syncing is so much fun. That's why TikTok is like, it's so fun. Like if you use it for the right thing,
we
it's
were the
so fun.
OGs of lip syncing. That whole phenomenon came out, the concept of lip syncing, when I was in middle school, and we had no idea then that we were already being duped. Because when I saw Milli Vanilli in concert at the Peoria Civic Center, I thought they were singing every word. I mean, that's how effective they were as lip syncers. And of course, now looking back, it's so funny because so many artists, that's a thing, right? On shows everywhere.
That's what ruined what's her
they
face
lip
is
sync,
Jessica
yeah.
Simpson's sister.
Oh
What was her
yeah,
name?
with Ashley, because there was a mismatch of her lips.
Yeah.
And so what's really funny is back then, that's how much as a culture we were all about being authentic. Like you couldn't have fake hair. You couldn't have lip sync. You couldn't, all the, because I'll never forget, there's an interview that's so offensive now where Barbara Walters was interviewing Whitney Houston and said, are you wearing a wig? I mean, can you imagine like how crazy that sounds today to question people about things like that?
Or
so
like
it's so funny how we were always like trying to out everything that was fake. And now we
only
don't
on the
know.
women.
Oh yeah, exactly.
on the
You
women.
didn't ever get, no one asked some of these men, are you wearing a toupee? When of course they were wearing a hairpiece,
And that is what is really interesting to me. How, I got to give my 10-year-old a lot of credit, Lucci. Like, I don't know if I think I mentioned it last week. So in our high school right now, they do the videos before the girls basketball team and the boys basketball team.
That's
It's a lot of
cool.
fun. It's really cool. I love technology, how they use it now. But before the boys are announced, they show the video and they drop the lights.
Oh yeah.
So
yes.
Lucci was very much like, why is it not like that for the girls? Like the girls team is just as good. Like, what is this? So homegirl champion. Well, then she used her mom as her vessel. And so last night at the game, they dropped the lights for the girl. And I look over at her.
I love that.
I look like, so
were they
Lucci's-
watching the group chat?
They must, or did they get the text from Amanda Goodman?
It was somebody saying like, just so you know, Amanda Goodman is talking about blah,
She's
blah,
gonna
blah.
ruin your
So
stuff.
we better make a change.
She's gonna ruin your skill. But it was funny because I looked over at Luch and her face was like this. She was doing that. She was like, but
She was so cute.
But it was a very much like it was
a moment
simple.
of seeing how just
Why is it not
using your
equal?
voice
Yes.
can spark a reaction, right?
And
I love that.
and it was simple. It's like as women, like when we say, I think when people like hear women say we, equal, like, or we don't want more than like being
No,
pro woman
no.
is not anti-man. And that's the
Correct.
thing. Like, so she didn't want like anything additional. And she didn't need like fireworks or like these big displays. Hey, they have their lights turned out. Why
Mhm.
can't we have our?
Mhm.
And it was
No, I love
It was
that.
awesome.
And what a good feeling because the girls then feel appreciated and
Yeah.
acknowledged just like the guys,
Yeah,
right?
just like the guys.
So Melissa said, I am slowly starting to wear clothes that don't hide my body. Growing up, I had family that liked young girls, and I was made to
Yeah.
feel like it was my fault.
Oh gosh.
And
yeah.
that's what's so crazy, right? Is how much everything now with young people, especially on social media, it's so sexualized, the clothes.
Right.
And so we've talked about that many times where, I mean, you go and you look at like a prom dress and the shoes. And I mean, I remember when like 20 years ago, even some of those shoes, they would have been like, okay, those are for strippers.
Stripper shoes. Yeah. And here's the thing, it's because women, we should be able to dress however we want. But we also know, like, and I mean, if someone's dressed a certain way, you're like, I mean, even women, we think it like, oh, she wants attention. You know what I mean? Like it's very much, I have never been one. I have never shown the girls like ever. Like even in my bar days, I say like my midnight rodeo, my Ropaho days in Amarillo, Texas, my standard uniform for going out was a wife beater, like the white tank top. And it was like, you know, it showed the midriff.
We all had the midriff.
Because
we were pre-kids. So we had taut, flat stomachs.
Yeah. But I had like, it was like the wife beater and then like the jeans and that was it. Like I was never like wearing like, you know,
the bustier. Even though Madonna was with Jean-Paul Gaultier. That was her choice designer, right? So Stephanie said my mom disliked Madonna so much it made me love her even more. Of course, you always like embrace, you know, your parents, whatever your parents are.
Speaking of that, can I tell you, like in 3rd grade, Like a Virgin came out. So I am at home and I'm like singing in the kitchen, and then I go to school and I'm like, you know, like a virgin, and then this kid named Travis, he says to me, he's like, oh my God, you're such a virgin, and I'm like, I am not a virgin, like because I had no idea what it meant. And I went home and I told my mom, and I was like, guess what Travis said to me today? And she said, what? I was like, he called me a virgin. And my mom was like, and what did you say? I'm like, I told him I was not. Like, it was so funny.
In 3rd grade.
So I am literally like, imagine though, a 3rd grader. Like, I understand now where my parents were like, let's take MTV off the cable box, because they hear their 3rd grade daughter like a virgin touched for the very first time. Like,
well, I'll give you one better, horribly better, but I was very much a Grease fanatic, as I mentioned. So when that movie debuted in 1978, my mom was pregnant with my sister in the movie theater, and that was the first time my mom felt my sister kick, was during the Grease soundtrack, you know, playing on the big screen.
Grease Lightning.
And I'm not sure which song. I then watched the movie and have watched it, you know, countless times over the years. So I was a 2nd grader, and I was with my dad when he was the superintendent at one of his schools, and walked in with my dad to have some kid, some like teenager or older kid, say something. And I said, why don't you go flog your log? Because I heard Rizzo say it. And my dad looked at me like, what did you just say? And I was literally a 2nd grader quoting that line.
And your dad was probably like secretly proud.
I mean, but what's so crazy? Yeah, it's so funny how it's true. Like you just pick up whatever is like popular culture.
It's so funny because there were so many things in that movie, like a hickey from Kaniki.
Oh my gosh!
Like we didn't know.
Gosh.
We didn't know.
Iconic lines. I mean, you never forget that. Like,
so who was your favorite? I have to know. Like, were you like a Sandy fan?
Well, I mean, I of course I was all about how Sandy, like, you know, turned kind of like the sex symbol when she came out, and I recreated that scene on the playground where I acted like I was, and I've never even smoked a cigarette, but back then, you know, you're just like, it's glamorized. So in 2nd grade,
the shoes that she had on were the best.
I pretended like I threw my cigarette down and stomped out my cigarette in front of Cord Hansen, and I said, "What's happening, stud?" Isn't that what she says?
Tell me about it.
Oh, tell me about it, stud. Thank you. Tell me about it, stud. So I literally was recreating that scene, which is so hilarious. And then I laughed too. We've all been there. I remember playing by my friend Kent Horseman. He was like my first friend, neighbor kid. And I remember one time over at his house, and his sister had a bunch of Barbies, and we were like playing house, and we were like putting the Barbies on top of each other. Isn't that awful? It's so stupid.
I mean, that's what we knew. Like watched
Ken, and you know, because you saw like the scene on General Hospital and Young and the Restless where they were like kissing.
This is why Gen X, like, you don't just stop messing with Gen X. Like, we have seen things, we have been part of things. Like, our parents left us unsupervised and watching shows like Dallas.
Oh,
I remember when they shot JR, and my dad and I were having a conversation. My dad was talking to me like I was a grown woman. Like he was like, "Who do you think shot him?" I'm like, "I don't know," and I'm like 7.
And he's like a prosecutor, and he's like questioning you. I will never forget. I mean, I was avid Phil Donahue watcher. I never missed an Oprah episode. And pre-Oprah, we had a show out of Chicago. Phil Donahue. He ended up marrying Marlo Thomas. Very famous couple, and I loved Phil because Phil was an innovator. I mean, he was very much the pre Geraldo Rivera, Maury Povich, Sally Jesse Raphael, because he was doing provocative topics. So I'll never forget, he had an episode devoted to the Who Shot JR cliffhanger because they were never going to reveal to us that it was Kristen until the following season. And I called it. I said I thought it was Kristen. So that was one of his mistresses because he was cheating on Sue Ellen. So I literally remember like sitting in my living room or our TV room in the basement, and I was watching that episode, and everyone in the audience got like a t-shirt that said "Who Shot JR?" And that was so cool back then because it was like, oh my gosh, they all got t-shirts. I mean, it was like, oh, and I remember one time going to a haunted house and I got a free in living color t-shirt. Remember when J-Lo was one of the dancers and Jim
Carrey.
Yeah. And I thought, that is so cool that I got a free in living color t-shirt from the local radio station.
Appreciate it so much back then.
And now like, it's so sad how everyone is so jaded by like this disposable culture. So no kid today would think anything like that was cool. Like if we all wore the same t-shirt or we got a freebie, they would just be like, just throw it on the floor.
Because, I mean, like I think about our generation and like my kids will be like, but it's like we are tough because it's like we talk about the playground equipment, right? You know,
the slide,
the metal slide, well, hotter than hell, right? And then like my mom, like you went in the summertime, you had to go outside and you were not allowed to come back inside. Like my mother
never wanted to come outside.
And she'd be like, I'm like, can I have something to drink? Use the spigot. Like she denies it.
Like yelling out the window.
Yeah, she denies it to this day. But I'm like, I mean, like we left. But the other thing is this, and like this is why. And I tell my kids, I said, you have to understand something. In 4th grade, they wheeled that TV in on the cart. And they played, it was 1984. And the space, like the Challenger goes up in the air and we're watching it. The Challenger explodes. So we're all, and there was a teacher in it. Kristen McAuliffe was in it. And it explodes. And I will never forget, our teacher went like this. Well, okay. So let's go back to math class. We went back to math. Like we just watched the space shuttle.
Never even talked about it. Isn't it crazy? And I was homesick that day of all things. And I watched it live on our kitchen television. Yeah. And I remember looking and you're like, young and you're going like, something looks wrong.
Yeah. So what happened?
Was crazy.
I mean, we went back.
Yeah, it was like one of those few live events where like the whole nation was a captive audience.
And nobody talked about it. And so it's like kind of funny. I respect all generations, and I especially like the baby boomers who raised us, I respect them. Like I don't like when younger generations call people boomers, like shut up, like show your respect. But Gen X, we are literally just like I just think we're some of the toughest people and resilient.
And we didn't even realize until we raised kids of our own.
We were
contrast, right? Yeah, because we now think about. I mean, we've talked about this. This is a hilarious story. I had very involved, very responsible parents, and yet they were so inclined, which I love. In 4th grade, they dropped Laura Marsh and I off at the Peoria Civic Center, and we went to the Rick Springfield concert with Corey Hart opening act by ourselves. Can you imagine that?
No.
So that would be like the equivalent of that. Okay. Lucci, right? That would be like in a bigger city right now. That would be like you dropping off Lucci to see like, who would you want to see?
Oh my God. Olivia Rodrigo. Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah. So literally dropping your 4th grader off and being like, pick you up at 10.
No. We were smarter then. And I'm not saying like my kids are
we
smart,
were just mature in knowing how to take care of ourselves better because our parents didn't crutch us the way we've crutched our kids.
No, we were like learning to fight people at roller skating rinks. Like Monday nights, we had roller skating parties. I think it was like the first Monday of every month we would have a roller skating party for my school. And then it was went to private school, but then you like the public school kids would be there too.
So it was you knew it was going to be wild with the public school kids.
And so I remember, I think I was like Lucci's grade, 4th or 5th grade. And a kid came up to me. It was a slow song. So it's either couples or back skate. He's like, do you want to skate? And I was like, sure. And so some girl with like short hair here, long hair here, like this white chick comes up and she was like, what do you think you're doing? And I was like, I'm going for a skate. I mean, she was trying to fight me and I had to like, that was the first time I had to like stop. I mean, that
was the first time you asserted yourself. I love it.
That is where FAFO.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Our skating rink, we called our skating with couples moonlight skate.
Oh,
and I could if
That's
you
very
could skate
soft.
backward, then you got to, you were the backward. You started out the moonlight skate like backward with your arms on the guy. Hilarious. So I'll never forget.
Oh,
We
okay.
also played.
Fancy.
Yeah, we actually were
Did
like.
you do Crazy Trio? Is that what you're gonna talk about?
No,
Oh.
we played the one song that I'll never forget, like 8675309 was
Oh.
on, and I remember thinking like, this is such a cool song, and then when you love the song, you're like skating faster.
Oh,
You're
of
more-
course.
So we had
You do
this
that.
thing where,
Yeah,
there was the bank of the pop. You could get unlimited pop,
Oh.
and so you could take your Coca-Cola disposable cup and go fill up whatever pop. And so we did Suicides, where you put a little of every single pop in the drink, and we called it Suicide.
See, I want, like, there is nothing more than I want more. I want so badly to somebody open up, like, let's go back and open up a roller skating
they're
rink and
talking
do an
about
old.
that. One of my
like-
friends has said she wants to do that.
I've heard it for
Yeah,
so long, and I
it's
need
hard
somebody
because-
just to
Well,
do it.
and the part that's hard is, and we know, let's be real, like she said,
No one's gonna
because we
appreciate it.
were Gen X and we had the baby boomers keeping us in line, even though we had a lot of freedom and independence, we also had a lot of respect for property and our elders, in contrast to, I think, the younger generation.
We
So
were
it's-
afraid of our parents.
Yeah, so because if you got in trouble or the police were called, like, you were in more trouble at home. And so I do think
Yeah.
there is a risk for people to invest in places for young people, because
I agree.
they're worried about like destruction of property and people,
And-
starting fights just because they want to videotape it with their
Oh my
devices.
gosh, yeah, I
and they're
know.
jumping people
And-
just so they have a viral video.
So everyone wants to go viral, but I don't think they could. This generation, like, I tell my kids all the time, and I know that I've raised them, but I was like, your generation's soft. Like, my kids could not, and my kids are pretty tough. They could not have handled a night at the skating rink. Like, if someone made us mad, when Crazy Trio came up, look out, because we were clotheslining you, right? You would have your two friends, and you'd be like, there she is. There's that girl. Like, that's the one that tried to fight me. And we would go, and you Crazy Trio, and you go up to somebody, and you clothesline them.
Yes, there
And
was
you're
the
going-
clotheslining.
You're
for
going
sure.
at like Mach 10 speed on your skates, right? Like, and you're not using the stopper. Like, you are clotheslining people. So I just say, bring back the roller skating rink and the school dances.
Oh yeah,
Like, all
so
the-
wholesome, right? It really was. I mean, and granted, we were kids, so we were trying to like have the like provocative music or do the things, but at the end of the day, we were pretty innocent, I thought.
Oh, I mean, I
in
was-
contrast to like what they see now on social media.
1,000%.
So this is hilarious. Amy Shannon, she said she won a Bud Light T-shirt at a school-sponsored event in 1987, and that's the other thing too.
So
That's
true.
so funny
That's
how
so
you were like, I remember Chad Miller. He wore a Bud Light T-shirt to school in 3rd grade, and I remember being like, oh my god, Bud Light, like that's beer. But like, so isn't that hilarious that his parents let him wear a Bud Light? It's so funny that I remember all these kids' first and last names, but I don't remember like what I
think
did
about
yesterday.
every kid, like on dress down day, kids in school would be
Oh,
wearing
yeah,
like the
'cause you had
Marvel
uniforms.
Yeah, we would have dress down day. You have to sell a certain amount of magazines. You could dress down on a Friday.
dress
But,
down.
They would wear like their Marble Red, like that the T-shirt that their parents would get because they brought in the packs of cigarettes. So like when the barcode, what was it called when you would take like the pack of cigarettes and then you would mail them in and then they'd send you like a T-shirt.
Oh,
So they would
yeah,
wear like
yeah.
Marble Red, cigarettes. Catholic school,
oh my gosh.
little Jimmy
Okay,
in second grade.
so it's so funny that you think back to when you saw something that somebody else was doing that your parents had basically instilled in you was like not for somebody of your age. And I'll never forget Calvin Coolidge I went to Calvin Coolidge from kindergarten through 3rd grade. That was our elementary school.
I thought you were talking about like the real Calvin Coolidge.
yeah.
I'm like, you're not that old.
So I'll never forget in like 2nd grade, we had an all school assembly, and our school back then, that particular school was K through 8. And the principal,
That's ours.
Hal Okerberg, wanted to keep the lunchroom quiet. So he would literally put 8th graders across from kindergarten and 1st graders. And we would be eating our pizzas so scared because we were sitting across from the big bad
dogs.
8th graders.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
and
big
these
dogs.
kids were big. We were, think about
You were
that-
tiny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we had an all school assembly, and I looked down and I saw an 8th grader, and she had a butterfly tattoo on her ankle. And I thought, a tattoo in 8th grade? I mean, it was like, I remember.
Was it a sticker? Please tell me it was a sticker.
No, I think she had a real tattoo. And I remember I was like shocked. And what's
Thug
so
life.
funny is you never forget.
No.
when you see somebody or something that's so counter to what you, how you've been raised, you're just like,
right,
she has a butterfly tattoo.
Yeah. No, it's kind of like the first time you pull up to high school, like we had like the smokers corner.
Oh yeah, that's
and
always
you would
been a
see
thing.
the kids.
Always been a thing.
But I would laugh now thinking about it, like, because in my high school, they would get on the loudspeaker and they were like, "For all of you at the smokers corner, please clean up your cigarette butts." Like over the, and I mean, you think about that now, like, because like the neighbors, like, because we had a park, like my school is like in downtown, and so you had a park on the streets, and so the people in the homes would call the school, and so the school was recognized that, like, please make sure you clean up your cigarette butts. And I was like, now you look at it, I'm thinking, wow.
Well, you know what the equivalent is that I thought was funny? Our high schools is there's a new Quick Star that's adjacent to my son's high school. And so they've been overrun with
your backpacks
teens,
outside.
Yeah, with teens coming in to get Bosco sticks or whatever they call it, you know, I mean, whatever. And so I did think that it was funny that they sent an all school email to all the parents to basically say, we're going to allow only like 3 at a time to go into the Quick Star. You know, they're like, so kids are kids. And so to me, even though I get it, I wanted to say, I would like to almost say to, you know, any business, like, what do you expect when you put when you locate next to a high school with like 1,700 kids?
Just let kids be kids, you know, within reason, and they're not. But I like that's what, like, I kind of laugh when I see, like, you know, some of these high schoolers and they think they're like big and bad. And like my line,
they've never been confronted at the roller rink.
I always like my line I use. I have smoked stuff bigger than you. Like, it's a joke, and I have not. Well, maybe back in like when I was in like college, but you know, but it's like, you don't go toe to toe with anybody from Generation X. And I think it's so, you know, you joke around, but I'm like, I am proud to be a Gen Xer, because we literally,
I am too.
Because it's just, we are tougher. We respect authority, but we've never trusted authority. Right. Cause we were always like,
well, John Cougar said it best. Like, I fought authority, and authority always wins.
Oh, every single time.
That's a great line. By the way, people were really critical of him because he's an Indiana native, and he's actually going back on tour, but he loves Indiana so much that he then performed at their post, you know, victory national
Hoosiers,
celebration victory party. And he did some a cappella stuff. And then he actually was playing guitar, or no, I saw a clip where he was doing the singing and somebody was playing a guitar next to him. And so it was so funny that there were people commenting like, most boring, you know, championship celebration ever. And I thought, who are you? Like, everybody would think that was cool.
Well, that's because I said to Gia, who's going to IU.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, John Cougar Mellencamp. You know, he's like a big fan. And she was like, who? Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, come on. Like, everybody but then I forgot, like, he's not John Cougar anymore, right? He dropped the Cougar a long time ago.
Yeah, he John Mellencamp. Remember when he was dating Meg Ryan, and they both looked like they had bad plastic surgery?
Their faces
which is sad, because, I mean, he used to be married to that model that was really, I think she was like a CoverGirl model. So, I mean, back in the day before social media, you knew models because you would see these people in magazines. And so it's weird too how that
Nikki Taylor was my favorite.
Yeah.
Nikki Taylor.
Remember when her sister died from the asthma? Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that was awful. I mean, we knew these people's backstories because they would share a lot of personal information about the models in magazines. So my mom's watching. Hello, Mom. She said, good old Calvin Coolidge, my first teaching job there in 1966. So that was cool. My mom was a teacher, and then she eventually became an elementary principal. So my sister and I went to elementary school with her friends and like former coworkers.
Oh,
so that was
cool.
Always fun. So yeah. So, and it's so funny because when we look back on our elementary years, I mean, the fashions, the trends, you never forgot when you finally got, you know, that coveted item. And for me in second grade, I finally got my mom to buy me, it was a hot kind of metallic green leotard. and it buttoned in the crotch.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had these Dr. Scholl's clogs, and they did have a little bit of a heel on
wood,
them.
like the wooden ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The wood, we were wearing wood. We were walking on wood. That was what we wore. And I had the Jordache jeans, and I had jeans that had chocolate chip cookies on the butt, on the back pockets, and there were like crumbs that were embroidered on, falling off the pocket. And I remember one time in the hall, and I had on that leotard, those clogs, and those jeans. And I
you thought
remember,
you were the
and
stuff.
we had to line up, to walk to our classrooms, and so
You
we
thought
would
you were the-
pass.
Mhm.
You'd pass other kids, and I remember just having a little strut in my step because
Oh,
I had those.
the alpha game will. It's
had
like
those claws.
It's like that meme. Like there's a meme that has been going around forever, and it was like, this generation has Instagram, and then they have like show the pencil sharpener.
Oh, isn't
that's
that the
when-
truth?
That's when
That's
you showed
when
off
you were
your
going to
outfit.
be seen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, like I would
You
roll
would
up my
make- you
uniform
would-
skirt.
We would make up reasons. We would like push
I had
down
to-
really hard on our pencil, so we'd have to go to the sharpener.
Oh, I would do this. I would go up and I would do. And I would like sharpen my pencil, like sit down, Mandy. Like,
oh my god,
Oh,
that is
and
so true.
we
It
had-
is hilarious.
our
to think,
teachers,
yeah.
my teachers were like thugs, and I had like a lot of nuns, Sisters of St. Joseph, and they would call me out. Like Sister Elizabeth Chrissy, she'd be like, "Mandy, you've been at the pencil sharpener like 7 times today. Sit back down. Like you're done. Like they knew my game. I had no game.
It's really funny how back then, because we weren't any more insecure than any other generation, but we didn't get to, put all our highlights on social media on a digital wallpaper for all to see. So that was like our time to shine.
I
Is when we were at school.
the fashion
It
show.
was social hour.
I am finding my floor because I cannot believe we only have 4 minutes left.
Okay. Do you want to do your 4-letter word
I
first?
will.
Or do
I
you
will
want me to
do.
my
You
Bible
you can do
verse?
your
I'll
Bible
my
verse.
Okay, good. So today's verse, I love it. Psalms 143:10. This is a classic verse. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your good spirit lead me on level ground. And I love that because everybody has their
That's great.
moments where we're like off the chain, flying high. And we like to say, in a way, this verse like mirrors our husbands, where Hector and Dave, they stand, on level ground, holding the string when we're floating in the air.
Yeah, come back down to
Because we're
earth.
so over the
Come back
top,
down to
literally.
earth. Yeah, literally. My 4-letter word of the day today is fire, and that's
Good one.
whatever is burning inside of you, whatever like your inner spark, what makes you different is what makes you great, right? Somebody didn't like my reel that I posted yesterday, and they say you're very sure of yourself. I am, right? And that's okay. Like you can be sure of yourself. Like it's not, confidence is not arrogance.
No,
Like,
that's true.
confidence is
and,
not
and
arrogance.
when you've lived enough life as we have, and you've been through many, many things, and generational shifts, and then just the seasons of your life, there is an earned confidence that comes with that.
Yes.
And that's why it's so critical that you respect those who've come before you.
You do. And like I said something yesterday and I stand on it, and it's okay for other women, stand on this, right? Like the reason there's so many people who don't like me, some people don't like me just because they don't like me, right? But the people they don't like me because they can't F with me. They can't mess with me. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't control me. So when they can't control you, they want to tarnish your reputation. They want to ruin you because it's like, I can't. What do you mean? Like, so people don't like when they don't, you know what I mean? People don't like when you stop people pleasing. And we say that all the time.
Well, and we were
show.
in such a unique situation for all those years on TV where we were so regimented and controlled in a lot of aspects, both in our professional and personal lives, because we were, for better or worse, public figures. And
Yeah.
so that's when, as an older person, when you're sort of out of that arena, I mean, we do have very strict levels of not wanting to be controlled by others because we had to succumb to that for so long.
Yeah, it's kind of don't tell me what to say anymore, right?
Mhm.
Like don't tell me to calm down.
If I want to talk about, X on the news, this is our version of that, right?
I mean-
our unfiltered ability to share,
we can finally
be ourselves.
because that's the thing. We found our voices. We've always had the voices, but now it's kind of we're not going to apologize for it anymore, and we're definitely not going to be a watered down version of us just to make
No,
other people
I love
happy.
that. And if you didn't know, fire is also a slang thing that's popular with young people. If somebody looks at you and they love your outfit, they're like, that's fire.
Speaking,
I do
yes.
know that.
So I'm going to end with this. So the other day I coach a 5th grade basketball team. I co-coach a basketball team. And so it's Lucci's team. And so one of her friends was sitting there and we were on the bench and she looks at me and she's like, Amanda, she's like, your outfit is eating today. And I go, is that good? She goes, oh yeah, you are from your nails. She's like, you are eating. And I was like,
oh my gosh, these kids.
if you get approval from a 5th grader these days, you are just, it's it.
You've arrived. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the group chat. Make it a great hump day, as they say. And we will see you tonight in Prairie du Chien or right back here Friday morning at 7 a.m.